ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, September 5th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Today's the day. It's your last sleep before Thundering Herd returning to Jones C. Edwards Stadium to take on Missouri State. That's coming up Saturday. We go on the air 3 o'clock. We invite you to tune in right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as we get you set 3 hours before kickoff. I'm going to be over in the West Lot. Looking forward to seeing all of you. I'm looking forward to maybe hitting up some of your tailgates as well, as this will be our first tailgate of the year. So we'll get the text line started here in just a few minutes. We've got soccer action coming up tonight. The men are on the road taking on St. John's, the number 2 Marshall men's soccer team. St. John's will be the first road match of the year for the Thundering Herd. Herd, I thought, could have won this one, but had that 2-2 draw against number 12 Virginia Tech. Marshall outshot Virginia Tech 19-4. So some things to work on for the Herd, but still Marshall and Virginia Tech, you might see those two teams again later on competing for the College Cup. Now, St. John's not going to be a pushover. They got a 5-0 win at New Hampshire. Did have a scoreless draw at number 5 Wake Forest. And so their goalkeeper, Alec McLaughlin, Big East goalkeeper of the week. So he's talented. He's highly regarded. The Herd, though, just looks really good. Athletic. They, again, 19 shots on Virginia Tech. You get some of those to go in, and we're talking about a blowout here instead of a 2-2 draw. So I'm looking forward to that. And, the women are on the road as well. Actually, I'm sorry, the women are home. I'm so used to them being on the road. They are 4-1 now. They've had their first 4 of 5 matches on the road. So they got Fairmont State tonight at Hoops Family Field. Is this going to be one of those matchups where the Herd should just win? Yeah, I think so, to be fair. I mean, Fairmont State in the Mountain East Conference is good. So let's not overlook them. They were 12-7-1 in the Mountain East Conference. They were semifinalists. They were picked second in the Mountain East Conference North Division preseason poll. This is the first regular season meeting between these two, so it should be interesting. And the match will count, so it counts for both. This is one of those where it counts for us, it doesn't count for you. It counts. This is, I think, honestly, a nice tune-up. Should be competitive. Fairmont State's not going to come in just rolling over for the Thundering Herd. They're going to try to maybe show up their Herd. I'd be honest with you. If you're Fairmont State and you're going to Marshall, you're looking to come home with a victory over the Herd, in a convincing fashion here. I mean, this is going to be a big match for them. But I'm hoping the Herd's not overlooking West Virginia. That's up next. That is the next one. I mean, we're getting close to Sun Belt play, but WVU is up next after Fairmont, and so I'm hoping this is just a nice tune-up for the women. But really, the big one is coming up tomorrow, is Marshall and Missouri State. First time these two teams have met. This is the first West Virginia football opponent for Missouri State. So there's a lot of unknowns here. And I think there's a lot of excitement as well because you've got two teams that should be evenly matched. We really don't know. We still don't know what's going to be the quarterback situation, if we're going to see maybe 3 quarterbacks. Will he focus in, Coach Gibson, will he focus in on a couple of them? What's going to be the game plan? I mean, we know we might see a lot more of Joshawn Barbie. We might see a little bit more of him. Maybe we'll get to see more of Toby Payne. He'll actually have a little bit more of an impact in this game. Defensively, how much are we going to see of Cannon Lewis? I mean, there's a lot of guys that we're probably going to see more what we expect from them and their performance. I mean, Jalen Slappy, he's going to definitely be anchoring the line again. And then on the other side, I'm really excited to see Jacob Clark. He's been one of those rock-solid type quarterbacks. He needs only 159 yards to reach 5,000 career. That's pretty good. He's got 200-plus passing yards in 13 of 17 starts. He has a situation in which he doesn't have a go-to guy, but he's going to spread it around. So there's not one guy you can just key in on. He's going to get it to everybody. If they're open, he's going to get it to them. So that's going to be really key for the Thundering Herd. Maybe not keying in on him necessarily, letting him try to find an open wide receiver and cover those guys. Or, as some of the guys were saying, hey, we're going to make him earn it. He's not going to just be able to sit back there and just throw it to everybody. So, what do you do in that situation? Do you make it hard for him to find an open receiver, or do you make it hard for him to get the pass off? Try to do both. What's going to work? We'll find out. I'm excited about this. And, of course, Missouri State, joining Conference USA, and that Petrino family coaching tree, family tree, really, that's going to be a big storyline for this game. So what are you excited about as we get you set for the game on Saturday? Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Now, it's Friday. Now you can pick the score. Herd victory, Missouri State upset. Now you can pick the score. And again, the text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Also a big night in high school football. There's going to be a huge matchup on the mountaintop, Huntington High. The Highlanders taking on Martinsburg. That's going to be a big one. We've got the video stream on our website. Just head over to WRVC.com. We've also got Spring Valley in action tonight, and you can listen to that game starting at 7 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So we've got a couple of really exciting high school football broadcasts for you tonight across our Kindred Communications platforms. But the radio broadcast, Spring Valley, 7 o'clock, your new home of the Timberwolves right here, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Since it is a Friday night and I'm really excited to talk to you, let's get that text line going. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It is a Friday also, so we keep it light. We try to have fun. Let's do that when we continue. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1, AM 930.
BOGO Wing Blitz!
What are you doing?
I'm practicing my order for the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. BOGO Wing Blitz!
And what is a BOGO Wing Blitz?
It's the best play in college football, baby!
The Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe College Game Day BOGO Wing Blitz. Every college football Saturday game day, buy one jumbo traditional wing and get one free. Plus, quench your thirst like a champion with domestic draft pies, just $2.50.
BOGO Wing Blitz! Say
At the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue, downtown Huntington.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
The Greenup County Public Library has more events this month that you won't want to miss. Join us September 11th at 6 p.m. as we commemorate the day and remember those who died with a showing of the movie World Trade Center. Girls Night Out at the McKell Branch is September 18th at 6 p.m. showing Secondhand Lions. Crafter Noon at Flatwoods is September 18th at 2:30, making storage containers using plastic bottle caps. For complete details on these and more great events, check out their Facebook page or go to the website greenuplib.org.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, you can catch up with Dave Monday morning, 10:06, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I'm jacked for tomorrow. We're going to be back over the West Lot. I'm looking forward to talking to all of you. I've said that because I'm excited to talk to you and see you again. This will be our first home game back at the Joan. This will be a new look stadium to a degree. We've got the improvements to the Shoey with the new deck, and so that's going to look different. That scoreboard is gone. Finally, that scoreboard is gone. I didn't mind the big M as the scoreboard, the main one, but I never liked the scoreboard on the Shoey. It felt tacked on. So I'm happy we're going to get a new look Shoey, and then eventually we can get to work on the other end zone. Maybe that erector set can go bye-bye finally. Let's just fill that out properly. But that's for another day. The show now is about you at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've got a lot of high school football and college coming up this weekend. It's going to be really fun. We touched on it. Cabell Midland's playing host to Capel tonight. We've got Spring Valley at Parkersburg, and that's going to be on our airwaves right here, 7 o'clock. Huntington High, that's going to be up on the hill taking on Martinsburg. And we've got that video stream. You can listen to that, watch it, however you want to go about it. Just head over to our website at wrvc.com. But tomorrow, big day. WVU selling out Peden Stadium, taking on Ohio Saturday at 4. That should be, I was listening, believe it or not, I was listening to Dave the other day. They were talking about this game. Dave Wilson, if you just missed us. And he had no love for Ohio. Absolutely no love whatsoever for Ohio. And they were trying to talk about on the broadcast, hey, Peden's pretty cool. It's really nice there. I will say this: going to Athens, I've always enjoyed my trips to Athens. It's a nice trip. It's really, you get into Peden, and I'm not gonna put the old Marshall WVU Ohio level hate on this. It's really cool. Peden, they've really done some things with it, but it's a nice place to go watch a football game. I'm not going to lie. hopefully the both teams will tie, and they'll have to go into quadruple overtime to get it done. That would make me happy. Who do I root for? Okay, who do I want to win more in that one's probably the question that should be asked. Who do you want to win more? You want to see Ohio win, or do you want to see WVU win? Or do you want to see something else happen completely? 304-396-TALK is that number, 304-396-8255 to be a part of our text line. And, of course, tomorrow as well, Kentucky playing host to number 20 Ole Miss. Our boy Bill Cornwell will be following that game right up until kickoff of the Marshall game, and then he will be doing the PA work once again at the Joan. But until then, I know he'll be keeping an eye and ear on everything that's happening there. He's a big UK fan. We've also got Ohio State playing host to Grambling. That's going to be a little bit of a different matchup than Texas, so that one's an exhibition right there. Morehead State at Illinois State on Saturday as well. Rio will play host to Georgetown College at Alumni Stadium on Saturday in Jackson, Ohio. So Rio in action, Georgetown College. And that's good for Rio. But the big one for us, Marshall, Missouri State. What do you think's going to happen? Pick the score. 304-396-TALK. Texter says it's going to be 21-7 Marshall. Still not sure about the offense. Appreciate the text. Okay, 21-7. It's in the favor of the herd, so okay, that's good. I don't know if we're going to see an offensive explosion, or at least I don't suspect we're going to see an offensive explosion. I think it's going to be good old-fashioned, move the ball consistently, methodically. There might be a few explosive plays here or there. I think we're going to see the run game get a little bit more established in this one, which will open up the passing game. But again, we've got three quarterbacks that are all trying to make the case for why they should be the starter. Or is this going to be a situation where, and I wasn't a big fan of it under Coach Huff, situation where, okay, which quarterback gives us the tool set to win? We're going to go with this one. Okay, no, this one can do something else. I don't like that philosophy. You want to go with the guy that can win the game for you, but at the same time, if you have three quarterbacks, do you have one? I want to see one of these guys take ownership, and I want to see a definite, clear-cut number one. And they're going to have to go out there and show it. I can't declare it. And we didn't see enough really in that first game to honestly, to fairly say, okay, Zion's the quarterback. He looked good out there. Zion did look good, but he's the quarterback, right? But what about Jaquai Long? Is he the quarterback? You want to see him do well, and you also hope that a guy like Carlos Del Rio Wilson can get everything going. He's got experience at a higher level. He's got more experience than Jaquai. And you've got Zion, who transferred from Jacksonville State, so he's got more familiarity. So you circle one of those and say, you're the guy, and I don't know which one you can circle right now. I'm leaning towards Zion, but Jaquai is possibly going to ultimately be the guy. And Carlos has an opportunity here to kind of throw a wrench into that and say, look, I've got experience. I'm the guy. So that's what I'm looking for in this one. I hope that we get that settled. Running backs, I think we're going to have that settled, because the game next week isn't going to settle anything. That's EKU. Middle Tennessee might settle more. But Barbie, I'm leaning towards Barbie in this one. I'm leaning towards Roberts in this one. You have, I think, with running backs, though, I'm okay with shuttling those guys in and out. Keep them fresh. If you're going to run the ball more and you're going to ground pound, throw in 2 or 3 back sets. Go ahead. Make the other team have to figure it out all day long, as long as you're keeping them honest. So those are some of the questions I'm looking for. And then, of course, at the wide receiver position, I'm still saying, okay, we think we know it's going to be at least Bradshaw. We think we know. Who else is going to stand out? And that's going to hopefully get solved a little bit further down the season, because we'll figure out who's going to be the quarterback. Georgia was not a good opening opponent for the herd in many senses, many regards, because you have a new team, and Georgia's just Georgia. I know that's not really an analytical way to say it, but Georgia's Georgia. I didn't expect Marshall to beat Georgia. I did expect Marshall to go out and compete, and I think there were some things that Marshall could have done better and maybe made that a little bit more interesting. But we'll be a little bit closer to earth, a little closer to reality. Georgia is going to contend for the national championship. Marshall's goal is to get better and try to compete for a Sun Belt Conference title. It'll work out. You look at what happened against Ohio State last year. It'll work out. We just need to see if it can work out quickly, because once we get into conference play, there's not going to be that much room for error. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texture says, Paul, I think Zion Turner should be the quarterback. He proved himself at Georgia. Appreciate the text, and he did look good at Georgia. Can he do that again? Can he replicate that? Can he make that happen more? Can he be consistent? Do you start with Zion? I mean, do you go out there and you start with Carlos? Do you start with Jaquai? Who do you start with? And do you stick with them a little longer? Because I would think they would have more opportunity to get the offense going against Missouri State, unless I completely read this situation wrong. I think Missouri State and Marshall, it should be fun. It should be competitive, but I think Marshall should win this. But again, I'm basing that off of what? We'll get your thoughts when we continue. Text line 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
What if someone could tell you what pest control issues you are most likely to have at your house in the next couple of months? Basically, someone that has like a bug or rodent psychic. Wouldn't you want that same person to handle your pest control services now? That's what Patrick, Becca, and the whole team at K&B Pest Control can do. They can predict the future, and better yet, prevent it from happening at your house. Call them now, 304-523-4281. K&B Pest Control, they'll kill for your business.
Now in stock, hard-to-get Chevrolet Traxxas, over 50 available. More coming, starting under $23,000. The Car Ferry says clear the lot, 2026 is on the way. GMC 2026 Terrains, 40 in stock, up to $1,800 off. Mark Porter Chevy GMC in Ashland, Kentucky and Pomeroy, Ohio has truck. Take up to $14,000 off. 2025 GMC Sierras. Offer includes $3,500 owner loyalty rebate. Must own 2011 or newer Buick or GMC. Come to Route 7 and Route 33, Pomeroy, Ohio, or Greenup Avenue, Ashland, Kentucky. Over 800 GM vehicles available. Car dreams do come true. Sale ends September 2nd, all rebates to dealer.
Save big money now at Menards. Patriot Lighting outdoor motion sensing wall lights bring on-demand bright illumination, adding safety and security to your outdoor area. Choose from a variety of styles and functions like the 3-head motion sensor floodlight, which has a powerful 5,500 lumen brightness. Save big on all Patriot security lights. Also check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. AMDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at MDA.org today.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's your Friday night kickoff edition. Paul Swann, your host here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 with our text line open and brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Well, while we're getting ready for Marshall, there's one thing that's going to happen that I think maybe would have been great last year, just to be quite honest. I don't know if it would have changed too much, but it looks like we might see a little relief when it comes to this transfer portal. So the NCAA's FBS Oversight Committee has put forth the recommendation, which if it passes, yes, eliminate the spring transfer window and just have a 10-day window, and that would start on January 2nd. So first of the year, January 2nd, we've gotten past major bowls, right? For the most part. We still got the college football playoff. We've got a few left, but if you're in that, you're not leaving. So what's going to happen here is only 10-day window, January 2nd. You get your team going. You can enter. Now you can enter. Doesn't mean that you're going to get taken right away, but you can enter the portal, and then of course, if a team picks you up, you could be ready to go by February. Who knows? But there's also another proposal out there that the committee has put forth. It wants December to be a dead period for recruiting. But you can't visit on campus. You can call, you can text, you can write, you can email, you can do all the digital communication. You can communicate, but visits on or off campus not going to be allowed. So we're looking for this to potentially be in, I think October 1st is what I read, the date on that. And this was unanimous. The FBS coaches voted unanimously to support the January portal proposal. Now, this was earlier this year during the American Football Coaches Association convention. And if these changes go through, what will that mean for your football team? Well, that means you can focus on your football team. So here you go. You can focus on going out and playing your game. What a novel idea is this transfer portal, and I get why we have it now. And I'm not trying to limit anybody's ability to go find a better situation for themselves. I mean, if there was a transfer portal in which you could enter and come out the other side, maybe a new job, maybe you would like a transfer portal. You want to transfer your job right now. You get in the transfer portal and you can go to another job right away. Isn't that kind of how we do it now? But with college football, it's a little bit different of a situation here because it's wreaked havoc on teams, and there should be some rules and some standardization here because you still have games going on. There should not be a transfer portal while there are still games. If this would not have been so close to the start of the bowl season with the transfer portal, maybe Marshall would have not declined its bowl bid. Maybe Marshall would have played. And I don't know if this legislation got a little push because of a situation like this, but for Marshall, I mean, that had to be one of the hardest things to do. There was a lot of turmoil going on, and that also with the coaching situation with Coach Huff, who was out the door before the championship game was even played. Let's just go ahead and say that right now. And honestly, mistakes made all across the board. Hopefully everything's good now. You like the coach. You like the athletic director. You like the assistant coaches. You hope everything's well. But this is what has hurt, I think, the most college football. The constant ability. You should still have the ability to go into the transfer portal, but the window should be limited. That way you can possibly cut back on this team hopping. Yeah, I'm coming here in spring. You know what? I didn't like it here. I'm going to get back in the portal. Okay, here we are. It's December. We've played our last game now. You know what? Team's going to a meaningless bowl. I'm going to just put myself in the portal. I'm not going to risk it. It's different when guys say, you know what? I'm going to stay out of the bowl because I'm going to the NFL. Everyone thinks that they're going to the NFL, for one. But if you're a legitimate first-round draft pick, yeah, sure. I can see your argument here. Like, look, what does this bowl game mean for me? Now, if you're playing for a national championship, then I think you got some motivation to play in the bowl game. That is completely different than, hey, you know what? The Hawaii Bowl. What does that mean? It means a nice trip to Hawaii. The Bahamas Bowl. Okay. The Boca Raton Bowl. Okay. Yeah, that's a nice trip. Sure. And bowl swag. Bowl swag doesn't mean what it used to. Really meaningful bowl swag doesn't mean what it used to mean. Remember when PlayStation had its bowl? You got an actual PlayStation. I mean, that was meaningful. But the transfer portal should be open in a situation where players can make decisions. At the same time, teams should not be impacted in crucial times. And I also am hoping that we come up with a system where now that we're going to have players that are going to be paid. That's the big thing. We open this up now. So there's going to be dollars that will be distributed to football players and to basketball players and different student athletes. Okay, so we've got that in place. Now, since we're talking about a lot of money that's going to just change hands here, I still want to see a system where you're obligated. Like, okay, I'm paying you. You're obligated now. You can't just take off. If you take off, there's going to be a penalty. You can take off, sure. Now, would that interfere with the transfer portal and the rules that have been set forth? I mean, players get the opportunity to transfer, but at the same time, sure, you get the opportunity to transfer, but there's going to be a financial penalty. Doesn't prohibit you from transferring, but there should be a financial penalty for that. If we give you X amount of dollars, and then you leave, you don't fulfill your term, you're going to get penalized. You're not just going to walk away with lots of free money. And how would that work? And could it work? I'm curious. That's what I would like to see in college football. Since we're now going to be a little bit more of a pro model, I want a situation where if I'm the quarterback and I'm getting paid pretty well, okay, I'm getting a good chunk of this, and I get a better offer elsewhere, and I decide, okay, you know what, I'm just going to leave. I mean, I got a better offer. I'm leaving. Okay, that's great. You can leave, but, you didn't fulfill the terms of our deal. So there's going to be a penalty there. There's going to be a buyout. Can you do that? Can players have a buyout? I am 100% on board with making that work. Coaches have buyouts. Players should have buyouts as well. And would you limit that to football and basketball? Would you extend that to all the sports? So, say soccer, for example. I mean, it's a different situation there, but the buyouts, could that work in college athletics? I say yes. I say that is definitely where it should go, because now you're entering in, and they're not employees, but yet they're going to get paid. There's got to be some protection for everyone involved. Now, a lot of these kids are going to come to Marshall, and they're happy for the opportunity. But you're not coming to Marshall because you're going to make lots of money. Let's just go ahead and say that right now. A lot of these kids are coming to Marshall so they can improve themselves and prove themselves, and then they'll make the leap to the next level. And that's what happens. You don't make it somewhere. You come to Marshall, you make it, and then, okay, I'm gonna go elsewhere now. I want a shot at an SEC school, or I want a shot at a Big Ten school. My dream was to play at the Big Ten. I didn't make it there just yet, so I came to the Sun Belt, came to Marshall, and I did well here and proved I can play. So now maybe I'm attractive and I can play in the Big Ten. That's what a lot of these kids are doing, and that's fine. But there's got to be a little bit more organization and a little bit more reason and a little bit more sanity brought to the transfer portal. You have the wild, wild west out there right now, but you have to find a way to kind of keep it a little bit more organized and not so fluid. Because what's the point? You come, You go through practice. Oh, you know what? I didn't like it here. And okay, it was practice. I didn't like it here. I want to start right away. Okay, well you got to work. You got to earn that. Yeah, some players will go through that. Some players not so fast. We'll do that. 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. That's our number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's time to get in the game with your hometown Chevy's Drive to Victory sales event. Our MVP is the Hometown Advantage. That's a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on all new and most pre-owned inventory. And don't forget about the Dynamic Duo. Interest rates as low as 2.9% and up to 90 days before your first payment's due. So come see us in Waverly or visit us online at yourhometowncHevy.com to start your drive to victory today.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year for March basketball. Frank's has you covered from the Sun Belt to the SEC, NBA to the MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Summer's winding down, your lawn's slowing up, and the leaves, they're already starting to drop. Robert's Lawn and Landscaping doesn't miss a beat. From final cuts to full fall cleanups, fresh mulch and winter prep, they've got your yard handled before the seasons change. Reliable, local, ready for what's next. Lock in your fall services now with Robert's Lawn and Landscaping. Visit robertslawn.com. Robert's Lawn and Landscaping, where every season starts strong, reliable, local, and ready for what's next.
Here's another Kindred Communications Community Chatter. The Cowboy Heineken Health Department providing monthly after-hours vaccine clinics for all of 2025. The clinics are being offered on the first Monday of each month between 3 and 6 p.m. at the department at 703 7th Avenue. No appointment is necessary.
This Kindred Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Black Sheep Harley-Davidson, 4th Avenue and 4th Street, downtown Huntington. Online at blacksheephd.com.
What is that thing? Oh my, the two big red eyes and the wings.
Oh yeah, funky babies. Word is that the Mothman has been spotted getting his groove on at the Ritter Park Amphitheater. And did you know Funkafest has expanded to 2 days this year? That's right, Funkafest 9, The Funk Awakens, is October 3rd and 4th in Huntington, West by God, Virginia. 2 jam-packed interdimensional days of soul-shaking live music from Sneezy, Jocelyn and the Sweet Compression, the MFB, Jeremy Shore, Joey H, Massing, Chocolate Four-Wheeler, DJ Charlie Black, and more. Plus, visual art, live painting, fire and flow performers, craft beer, food trucks, funky yoga, disc golf, the Kids Corner, and that late-night silent disco on Saturday. Big love to our funky friends, The Loud, Bad Shepherd Beer Company, Bonhoff, Basque Smokehouse, Luna Pizza, Marshall University Sustainability Department, The Good Time Show, Vandalia Digital, Kindred Communications and Kindred Digital, and Graphic Solutions. Kids 12 and under get in free. Tickets at funkafest.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore. So you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today. So it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We are wrapping up today's edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is still open. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've been talking about the NCAA FBS Oversight Committee recommending having just a 10-day window. And that would start on January 2nd for the transfer portal. Texter says, does that mean eliminating the spring transfer window? Yes, that does mean that. And I'm all for that because we run into that situation where you have the transfer portal. It's open for 10 days. So if you're in, you're in. You know you're going. You don't need to be, you got a few days. And this way you make that decision. And you make that decision after all the big games are over. So if you are playing in a bowl game, I don't want to say meaningless game, but you're playing in a bowl game and it's middle of December. After that bowl game's over, you decide, you know what, I'm looking for bigger and better, or I'm looking for a different situation, or I have a situation I need to change venues, whatever that reason may be. You get in the transfer portal, you have January 2nd to begin, and you got 10 days. Now you get to spring practice, and you come in, and here you are. It's a little harder than I thought it would be. This Gibson guy's, he's making me work. No, I should be the starter now. What's he talking about? I got to earn that spot. This guy's crazy. And so, after spring, I'm out. I'm getting back in the transfer portal. I'm going to find the next one. No, I don't like that at all. You have a transfer period. You can transfer between schools, and then you're locked in. You're there. You don't get to reset in spring. I just didn't like it here. Or they don't have Chick-fil-A on campus. What am I going to do? One, Marshall does have Chick-fil-A on campus, so you're good there. But the rest of it is get rid of that spring transfer window. And January 2nd, 10-day window, coaches can focus on coaching. Coaches can focus on everything else that's important. And maybe, just maybe, you wouldn't see a situation happen again like happened with Marshall, where your coach checked out before the championship game, did his job, but checked out. He was gone, took a lot of players with him, and Marshall missed its opportunity to play in a bowl. And that caused a lot of embarrassment. And I'm going to be quite candid with you. I think that was the final straw for a lot of people in the athletic department. It was definitely a reason. And so now here we are. We've got a reset. You've got a new coach, you've got a new athletic director. You have a reorganization of the staff. Hopefully this will run a lot smoother. And if this goes through, you have a transfer portal that's going to have a little bit more sanity to it. And you can focus on building the team, and you can focus on knowing who your guys are. And maybe players will make better decisions like, okay, is it really better here or elsewhere? Are there opportunities for me? And you can always take yourself out of the transfer portal. To be fair, you can take yourself out. It's like you put your foot in, like see what it's like, and okay, I'm just testing the waters here. And that way you avoid situations where you show up, you go through spring, and you go, okay, I know it's going to be harder here, and I'm just going to go somewhere else where it's not going to be harder, or I don't like it here. Well, then you got to go and start recruiting new players again. All right, we got to hit the transfer portal again. That's why I don't care for spring ball anymore. I don't really care for spring ball, spring practice. It has to be done, off-season conditioning, all of that. It's very important. I am not interested in it. I don't care, because a lot of those players, majority of those players, here today, gone tomorrow. And that's hurting college football. There's not a connection. When guys are with the program longer, you get to know them and you get to connect with them. Now it's just complete roster turnover. There's roster turnover in the spring. There'll be roster turnover after the hopeful bowl game, hopeful championship. There's always a period where there's just now roster turnover, and the coaching staff has to go out and put it together again. You do this, you eliminate a lot of that noise, including the spring transfer window. The spring's the time to kind of get ready for summer, fall practice, and then the regular season. There's a reason why you have the sequence the way you have it. you're trying to get ready for the season. So if you know who's going to be there, you can get better, and you can hopefully make better decisions if you're a player, knowing, like, okay, I got one shot at this until the next window opens up next year, so I better be good here. I better make a well-informed decision, and I got to be committed. And so here we are. And if this goes through, I'm happy. Absolutely. January 2nd, transfer portal, and done. 304-396-TALK is our text. 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, the Herd's going to win 45-7. Go Herd. Appreciate the text. That seems like a familiar text. It's a new text, but I feel like I've read that one already. 45-7. Go Herd. Different number. Okay. All right. I'll take it. You can text anytime in 304-396-TALK. Don't forget, we're going to have that open for you tomorrow during our post-game show. That's going to be right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as Marshall takes on Missouri State. We hope to be bringing you comments from Coach Gibson and players after the game. And, of course, don't forget, we start our broadcast day 3 o'clock on the West Lot for college football today. I'll be there. Bill Cornwell will be there, and we'll have a complete, comprehensive look at this matchup between Marshall and Missouri State. First time for these two teams ever on the football field. First time for a football game against a West Virginia opponent for Missouri State. And I think there's a little rivalry there already. It's Conference USA versus the Sun Belt, Marshall's old league. Now it's waving the banner of the new league, and Marshall needs to get off to a good start here. You do not want to see the Herd drop to 0-2. Then you got EKU, which that should be a win, and you don't want to go into a situation where you really need to beat Middle Tennessee to kind of feel like, okay, we need this win. You should win that game, but Marshall should. If you listen to a lot of people, Marshall should win all the games. So I'm not going to overlook anyone, but this is an important game. It's not as a former columnist would say, this isn't a linchpin game or anything like that, but it's a game in which we're going to see how well Marshall was able to take the film, point out where it went wrong, and let's see what the improvement is from week 1 to week 2. And that's what we're looking for here on Saturday. Texture says, Paul, it's going to be a defensive struggle. 14-3 Marshall. Ooh, that's a tight one right there. Missouri State with the field goal. Herd with 2 touchdowns. You think it's just going to be like a long day on the ground? Coach is just going to grind it out. We might not see too much in the air. Just get that running game going. Let them grind it out. Maybe 6, 7, 8-minute drives. Just go march it down. Take your time. Punch it in. Defense is going to hold. I would think if it's a defensive struggle here, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the Herd in that one. If the defense are showing up, I'm going to lean more Marshall. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow. We're going to go on the air 3 o'clock. Looking forward to hearing from all of you as we will start your Marshall Day with college football today right here on ESPN 94.1 at AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.